Hello, you poor devils. I'm trying to do a persona here. It's not going to work. Welcome to the Truth Researcher self-examination. I did crack a smile, which I haven't for hours, guys. I know I'm talking to you, so a different personality, a more hopeful personality comes out. I'm so beaten up, as I said last Sunday. All the bullshit that comes my way. I'm not talking about emails. I appreciate most people's email. Just the links and the all the old channels I'm subscribed to and all their truther bullshit and the endless analysis of the Bog conspiracy. It's the same old bullshit. Make it stop. You'll, Everything in this life, in this whole reality, is a few sentences. It's so simple. If this type of questionnaire has you unsubscribe here or eliminate this channel, so be it. Just walk away from everything if you have to. I don't want to lose you, but let's just go through this. This is so simple. All of reality is two sentences. Welcome to the Truth Researcher self-examination, where I will ask you a series of questions that will put you basically within just a few seconds, hopefully in the right the direction in life. Question number one comes up first. Do you believe that you existed before birth? Do you believe you existed before birth? Were you any sort of a spiritual entity or a soul that existed before you were born and came into existence here in this place called Earth? I'll give you 5 seconds to answer the question. If you answered no, and you do not believe that you existed in some sort of form before birth, my response to you would be, what the fuck are you doing at a channel like this? I'll give you 5 seconds to leave and never come back. If you answered yes, that you was a soul and spirit before birth, as I anticipate most of you did, then there's only one question that matters. Did you willingly come here, or were you tricked to come in here? Now, this is not no question that can be found in no notebook in front. Matt, stop with this isn't, the persona's not, the Rocky persona's not working. Just speak normally, Matt. This is an inner knowing exercise. There's no notes you left for yourself. There's really, you could look all over your house. You're not going to find anything in the closet. If you're not sure, I mean, most people that have done this sort of research or that are here, I mean, we've come to these conclusions about ourselves a long time ago. But if anybody's new, inner knowing, what does your heart tell you? What does your gut feeling tell you? Are you tricked to come in here? You're not supposed to be here? It's hijacked! Or this reality is very, very difficult, but it was supposed to be like this. Were you tricked or not? If yous believe yous was tricked, then only one thing matters again, finding a way out. Now here it says at death. I didn't make a slide for this. I didn't think about it till just now, but I assume some people might believe, 5 people here might believe days was tricked, but there's a way out in life. They're going to go up north and find the Axis Mundi, or they're going to climb the ice wall, repel the ice wall, or that would be climb. You got to go up the thing, Matt. Climb the ice wall in Antarctica, or the Mount Meru, or all these things. How many truth videos you watch about this horse shit? Some people may believe, I don't know, there could be like an adjustment bureau door here. You walk through, you think you're going into Macy's, I'm out of the entire reality. I made it. Look, most people believe if Days was tricked that they're going to need to find a way out at death. If you think you can find a way out in life, then I'm going to leave that to you in your own videos. I'm not going to address that anymore. On the other hand, if you believe you chosen to come in here, you were a soul or spirit like Little 22 in the last decent movie that Walt Disney made, you willingly came in here and you wasn't tricked, only one thing matters. What are you supposed, if you came willingly, so what are you supposed to do here for yourself? This is where worry about yourself comes in. What am I supposed to do? Why did I come here? Ain't no notebook for that either. Have to get in touch with that. What does your heart tell you, Jerry Maguire? They fired Jerry Maguire, Cronin's. What does your inner knowing and gut feeling and inner tuning fork tell you? This is it. There's no more slides. Everything boils down to this. Am I missing something? There's one proviso, religion. Whether you believe you were tricked or not tricked, if you are religious, then you need that religion or that God to get out or to get to where you need to be. But that goes without saying. Some may say, tricked or not, Matt, I need Jesus to get out of here or get to where I need to be. Fine, I understand that. Somebody may say, I need Allah to get to where I need to be. I need the teachings of Buddha and the 40 billion endless lifetimes and the karma and that bullshit to get out of here. I don't know. All that does is put more weight on your back. What's that? More weight. Karma. More weight. It's like a truck and tractor pull where nothing can ever be pulled. Karma. What a bunch of horse shit that is. But certain religions, there's 100 or more religions in the world. If whether tricked or not, if you need that to get you out of here, well, I guess that was deserving of a slide, but it's really not necessary. Kind of goes without saying. Could somebody other than Bill does enough for us, do like an org chart? Would you mind doing that for me with just little boxes and arrows? Do you believe you existed before birth? If yes, here, arrow goes over here. If no, again, almost everybody here believes, even the Christians here believe in some sense, Jesus knew you before you were born, that you were some sort of soul or spirit before this experience. I don't think we have probably anybody that believes they did not exist in any way, soul, spirit, or otherwise, before they were born. So I don't think we have to address that even in a slide, but well, at least we have to ask the question in a slide. So we believe we existed before birth, or you probably wouldn't be here. Then we get into, well, were you tricked or not? If somebody believes they were tricked to come in here, then that by definition or default basically means they're trapped. I mean, they do go hand in hand, don't they, to a degree? They tricked you to come in here for no reason? I think I should have put this in the slide. If you believe you were tricked to come in, then you most likely believe you were trapped. So only one thing matters, finding a way out. Picture Clint Eastwood in Escape from Alcatraz. He'd say, Clint Eastwood, you want these Archie and Jughead cartoons? Can I learn something about climbing the wall? If he couldn't learn something in whatever he was given in terms of the escape, that's all that mattered to him. That's all he focused on. You want to read this about how to shape rubbers and plastics? Yeah, well, let me read that because I can craft a float. If it related to his escape, it made sense. Other than that, he rejected it. So by that definition, Matt, I should not watch the NFL. I should engage in any hobbies like needlepoint. That's correct. If you feel you're trapped, only one thing matters: escape. And if you feel you're trapped and tricked, the stakes are pretty darn high. You shouldn't crack an egg without seeing in some way if that knowledge can translate as to how you can get out. I feel sorry for people like that. I don't feel I'm tricked or trapped. I feel I chose to come in here, but that's me. So if you're somebody that thinks, as I do, again, only one thing matters. Well, you chose to come in here. What do you have to get done? What do you have to learn? What do you have to find out about yourself? What do you have to overcome? There could still be consequences. It could all be up to you. Willingly came in, etc. Whatever your belief system is, higher self or something else, there could still be consequences, especially if you believe in higher self, that, like you've heard me do this, little Matt, that's little pinky of me, which is, we're all one. You didn't get it done. You just watched NASCAR, you dumb son of a beach. You didn't get it done. You didn't learn what we were supposed to learn. You didn't overcome what we were supposed to overcome. You got to go do it again. There's consequences if that's the case. I'm not saying you'd have to do it again. That's a possibility, of course. No consequences, people. You didn't get it done. Do it again. Still didn't get it done. This time watch the NFL, not NASCAR. Do it again. This time watch Major League Baseball, not football or NASCAR. Do it again. Learn something this time. Well, why don't you see if the higher self gave the answer away, here's exactly what you're supposed to do and how to do it, then, we have to do this for ourselves. It's not a symptom of a hijacked reality that we come in here, Tommy, the deaf, dumb, and blind kid. You might have to do it over and over again until you're trapped, but self-imposed trapped. Not David Icke, Saturn Moon Matrix trapped, self-imposed. You need to do the worry about yourself activities. Need to engage in the proper parts of part 2, the work, to get it done. It's like what Rodney Dangerfield said in Back to School. He said, I love dating teachers. If you don't do it right, they make you do it all over again. Well, maybe the higher self, same thing. Little Matt, you little son of a beach, you didn't get it done. Back to Severance with you. This time you're working for Lumen Corporation. So this is the fun part. We can bring back these ridiculous conspiracy maps. If you just look up conspiracy map on like Google Images, there's, I don't know, there's like 100 of them now. All sorts of different ones. I remember this is an old one. But this is where it gets fun. Because as you can see, getting information on any of these topics doesn't relate in any way to the only things that matter on those 4 or 5 slides. So most people, again, believe they existed before birth as a solar spirit. So in some way, trap, tricked or not, you're still trying to set yourself up for eternity. You're trying to set yourself up to have a real pleasant next trillion years or whatever. So if one of these topics doesn't relate to your belief system, as those simple questions were asked in the slides coming in, then these topics are completely irrelevant and are there, obviously, and intentionally to keep you from those important things on the slide. It's 2 sentences, all of reality. Class, Amish classroom up in here. Everybody sit down and take your seats. Take your seats. That's right. Who am I? I'm your substitute teacher for the day, Matt from Philly. I came in from Philly, up Route 30. You never had no substitute teacher up in here? Where's your teacher? Everybody knows about the Stoltzfus lap wedding. You're going to the barn raising afterwards, aren't you? Unless you don't get out of here, unless we don't complete this lesson plan. You want to go home before dark? You ain't got no cars with lights, do you? You ain't got no busing service. Sit down if you want to get out of here. I'm still following the regular lesson plan. Take your books out, turn to page 33. Go ahead. Want no lip. Put the spitballs down in the back. You want to be sent out now to clear fields? Page 33. Now, look at all the little conspiracies all over the place. See, there's probably one on there that says, what happened on the big day to the Pentagon? Let's say you take your whole natural life to try to figure out what happened to the side of the Pentagon. The lesson plan says, how does that matter in terms of the only things on the slides that are important? Oh, I figured out, teacher, what happened to the side of the Pentagon or any of this other nonsense that are on these endless conspiracy maps. Look, the Pizza Hut enemy at the gates. The Pizza Hut bot enemy at the gates is on here. You got that one figured out? How does it apply to the slides? How does it apply to what you need to do in life? So you see the trend here, right, people? Put the spitballs down. You see the trend? None of this horseshit applies to anything important in life. There's your lesson. Now go clear fields. It should be pretty easy to leave all this conspiracy horseshit behind for good. I've put all the possibilities on one slide. Unless I'm missing something, this is it. You existed as a solar spirit before your birth, and you somehow tricked in here and now you trapped. You existed as a solar spirit before birth, but you're not trapped. That means you have to do something. You didn't exist before birth, which logically means you likely won't exist after death. So if that's the case, nothing else matters. Go get your satanic Bible and do what thou wilt. Although there is another possibility here. Some religious people believe they did not exist as a solar spirit before birth. They were crafted or made by their God. And then, of course, the goal of life would, if that's the case, there was no existence of solar spirit before birth. The goal of life could only be one thing. Well, to learn a little bit, but to serve the God that created that person like a golem. I don't believe I was created like a golem of sand and mud. I believe I existed before birth, but that's me. So the bottom is the key at this point in time in this video. Which conspiracy research topic, like researching shape, splat turf? What's the shape? Put your lasers across the lake. Which research topic, and that's just, I don't mean to pick on them. They're a splat turf brethren. There's thousands of topics as we just looked at the conspiracy map. Which of those conspiracy topics, diving into them, assist what you need to do for yourself above? None of them. Which conspiracy research topics distract from the only things that matter above? All of them. Therefore, the conspiracy research topics are actually part of this reality trick. There is an adversary here to keep you from which one of the above you believe in. It assists the conspiracy research topics, then obviously assists the adversary in blocking what you're supposed to do. Am I missing something? This is like first grade. Let's look at this famous tome from the Theosophical Society. Oh no. Matt, don't piss off Madame Blavatsky again. I'm just using it as an example. I can't always pick on Splat Turf or investigating Pizza Hut enemy at the gate. This is no different. Let's see what this is. The most famous work is Isis Unveiled, a master key to the mysteries of ancient and modern science and theology by H.P. Blavatsky, corresponding secretary of the Theosophical Society. Anybody in the back want to raise their hand and ask a question? You spitballers, what would you want to say right now? Hey, you'll raise your hand. Go ahead, get up and say, okay, let's say I read this tome. What's your name? Zachariah. What's this going to do for me? Let's say I read this thing. What's it going to do for me? I came in willingly and I'm trapped. I came in willingly, I'm not trapped, which means I have work to do for my spiritual self that existed before birth. Or if I'm trapped, the entire goal is to get me out. So it is the first sentence. If I believe I existed before birth and I'm trapped in this reality system, if the first sentence doesn't say, welcome, trapped poor devil, this will help you get out. This is like Escape from Alcatraz. If it doesn't say that, what's the point? If I believe I'm not trapped, I need to do certain things for my spiritual self. I need to learn certain things. Why do I need to learn? Is that really what my spiritual self needs? It needs to understand the mysteries of ancient and modern science and theology? Like the spiritual aspect of me that exists for trillions and trillions of years cares about this horse shit on earth? It's horse shit. Let me just go to a random part. I'm not going to cherry pick. I'm just going to go to a random part and we'll read and see which part of the slides this serves. I think it's going to come up like the side of the Pentagon or Splat Turf, but that's just me. Let me give you an idea of how long this is. At my channel, it's a half-page reality. Actually, could be broken down into just a few sentences. That's because you simpleton, Matt, you don't understand what Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society understands. Look how long this is. That's not even chapter 1. I mean, this could take all day. Put your feet up. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Chapter 2. I don't even see the thing scrolling. I mean, this could be thousands of pages. I can't even tell how long it is. Look at this. Let me go faster. Oh, no. What could possibly be in here? All of this information that in any way is necessary to the spiritual journey of a tiny little short life. To me, it's the opposite. It's part of the trick. Sorry. Look at this. Are you kidding me? It's a half page boiled down into a few sentences. It's not just because I'm a simpleton, which I am. It's not just because I'm an idiot. Okay, here's the passage at random. I know it's small. I'll read it to you. I have not read more than the first few words of the first sentence. We'll do it together. I don't think there'll be anything but horse shit in here. Balfour Stewart says that while the man of science cannot assert that, quote, he is intimately acquainted with all forces of nature and cannot prove that perpetual motion is impossible, for, in truth, he knows very little of these forces, he does think that he has entered into the spirit and design of nature, and therefore he denies at once the possibility of such a machine. Had no idea what was just read. If he has discovered the design of nature, he certainly has not the spirit in italics, for he denies its existence in one sense, and denying spirit, he prevents, I almost read perverts, he prevents that perfect understanding of universal law, which would redeem modern philosophy from its thousand mortifying dilemmas, she spelled post-Mandela effect, and mistakes. If Professor B. Stewart's negation is found upon no better analogy than that of his French contemporary, Babinet, he's in danger of a like humiliating catastrophe. The universe itself illustrates the actuality of perpetual motion, and the atomic theory, which has proved such a balm to the existence of minds of our cosmic explorers, is... What the hell is this? Oh, no. The people, is anybody in the Theosophical Society, you pour over this? And let's just say you figure out a few sentences. Oh, look, it says Kabbalists. There's got to be in here, right? In the middle of the two additional forces of the Kabbalists are added to the catalog of orthodox science. Is that the Sephra? What does this horseshit do for me? Call me a simpleton if you like. Compare this horseshit to my slides coming in. What am I missing? I had to go find Bill's poster to see if the if the latest had Madame Blavatsky waiting for me in the light. And it's I don't see her picture, Bill, there, but it says at the bottom, it says Madame Blavatsky. So I guess this is the latest. She's part of the angry mob that will be waiting for Matt in the light with pipes and bicycle chains. And Gene Cernan there is featured. He's one of these fraudulent storytellers from Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. He went up and I guess he came back and told his fraudulent stories. I think I probably picked on him initially. That's why he's featured, and Bill featured him saying, this guy's going to be waiting for me in the light. Like that scene in Cape Fear. Counselor with the bicycle chains and the pipes. But then I pissed off so many people. Bill kept adding people. Anubis is there. He typically shepherds people. Weigh your heart against a feather. He shepherds the dead. But in the first time ever, he won't be shepherding. He'll be there with a bicycle chain and a pipe. Matt, you really in trouble. Oh, I'm scared. I'm totally scared. If Madame Blavatsky, if you're there, I don't see no image of her, Bill. I see the name. I would say, Madame Blavatsky, look, before you hit me with that bicycle chain, I'm willing to take it. But you need to, it's like a reverse riddle of the Sphinx. He's like, Sphinx, Leon Sphinx. Typically, he says, wait a second, Madame Blavatsky's like, I don't have to answer no riddle. That's for the newly dead. You got to answer the riddle. I said, no, I ain't answer no riddle. You answer the riddle. Here's the riddle. All that stuff you wrote, all that pretty language, Isis Unveiled or whatever it was called, you tell me one thing anybody that ever read it got out of it. I'm waiting. Move aside, let me pass. Go put that bicycle chain on the back on the bike. Get! Well, we'll keep going, but I think you guys get the idea. You could pick every single topic, and every single one won't help satisfy any of the important issues on the slides. Let's continue. Let's do another conspiracy map or two. But here, the top right gets my attention. The Paradise, California. There was a fire in Paradise. The Paradise Fire was the famous wildfire, and so many people died. And what it says here, was it 2018? Do I believe that it just happens naturally? Of course not. But then it becomes a gigantic conspiracy with the dew, do the dew bot. It's a Mountain Dew commercial. The weapons from outer space. Come on, like that. I don't know what happened. Was it natural? No. Was Not Milk involved? Yes. When we got blown out in New York and Philly last summer with smoke, Not Milk wasn't involved. But it wants you to go too far. It wants you to embarrass yourself in front of family and friends. Could you, how's it going to go over for us and the credibility? Not that we no longer fight for it. We no longer care about how we're seen in the eyes of others, but start talking about space. Oh, let me get this straight. The government sent laser weapons from space. Oh, sure. You don't think, even if the people talking about that were trying to help, you don't think that was implanted by Not Milk to make us look like assholes? Either way, we could, now we're getting in the weeds. Was this introduced in our community or not? The people talking about the dues, were they on the side of Not Milk, or were they actually on our side, just misguided and trying to help? Guys, it doesn't matter. If you start talking about laser weapons from space, come on. Come on. It's meant to sink us. It's meant to belittle us. It's not, I was going to say, it's enough to see that there was something unnatural about it, but that's irrelevant at this point. It's enough to see that the entire reality through these topics plays a trick. So I see even this topic drew us a little bit too close into the weeds, and I have some people will comment back and bicker basically and don't like what I just said about certain things. It doesn't matter. That's the point of this presentation. None of these topics satisfy the core elements of the slides, unless I'm missing something. Let's do one more from this one. Let's focus in on the bottom right quadrant. Dums, deep underground military bases. Maybe Not Milk floated that concept into our research community as a mockery. You dumb if you spend time on this, even if they exist. See, that's the point, guys. Somebody's throwing tomatoes at their keyboard right now and trying to type, even if they exist, don't take the bait. Let's just say, there are these underground bases all over, miles and miles. Who cares? So, how does that, whether I know about it or not, whether I approach the gigantic metal vault door and knock and say, "You want to buy lemonade in there? Anybody want to buy some lemonade?" If I know people inside, you buying Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mints? I was told to approach the dumb. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it exists or not. To spend time on it. That's the point. Is not to fight if these are real or not. Anybody missing that point? The point is you get involved in this. It's a distraction, whether it exists or not. It doesn't matter because knowing about it and learning more about it doesn't do or satisfy any of the basic requirements of the slides. Are you getting that? First grade truth is oh, you think they don't exist, Matt, don't you? It doesn't matter. Whether every single city could have hundreds of miles of Dums, and you'd be dumb to try to waste time on it. That's the point. Look on the left, it says CERN, a cult sacrifice. a cult sacrifice ritual for Cernunnos, I guess. And look, their Pentagon is there. Look, it says blank hit Pentagon. I knew it would be here somewhere, CERN. Boy, was the Mandela Effect community played big time with CERN. See, because there's been thousands of videos relating the Mandela Effect to CERN, you know what that means? It means it's not the cause. It still could be involved in some way, but it is not the root cause. When there's thousands of videos and we're taught as a community to focus on this and that, people just think it came up naturally, like there's some sleuth truther somewhere that broke the news about CERN and then everybody ran with it. No, all this stuff is planted. See those letters on the far right there? It starts with a C or whatever. It's planted in our community. And there are fake truthers, of course, so you call them shills or whatever they are, that are in our community right now they're supposed to run with this stuff and most aren't plants, most aren't working for Not Milk, most run with this stuff and propagate it just trying to help. They're running with these topics and doing exactly what the deep state, the infrastructure, the minions and the creeps, and the Not Milk wants. I had to take a minute and go back to the slides and add this very important note. Does the Not Milk want us to investigate these topics, or is it scared of those who investigate? Is it scared of what we'll uncover? Oh no, it's pretty clear it wants us diving into every topic, and it provides the yellow breadcrumbs, so more and more of us do it. By the way, it was Michael, I believe, that suggested Not Milk should have the C at the end. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is everything it does here, everything the asshole dark does is an inversion or some sort of perversion, and never capitalize the end, never show it a degree of respect, do the opposite. So also you can see Clinton a little better here, so I'll use this more and more. Thank you, Michael. I don't know exactly what this means to those who study how to beat the straw man in the legal fiction. They might have a comment on this, but they at least taught me not to use the word person anymore related to you and me. I understand that now. But does Not Milk want all those topics? And I haven't even shown, there's hundreds of these conspiracy maps now. It looks like thousands of different topics. Y'all have been here long enough. You know all the different things we've all touched on over decades for some of us. Does it want us to investigate these topics, or is it scared of what we may find out? The first grade truther still cries out in the night, oh, it's getting worried that, it's trying to hide over here, Matt. It's trying to hide and cover this up. No, it's not. It's providing the clues. It's providing the yellow breadcrumbs. It's providing the trail for the truther Hansel and Gretel to follow. It's making mistakes on purpose to get your attention. It wants us diving into these topics as much as possible. Of course it does. This is 100%. And this leads us once again back to a discussion on the role of the Minion class, or the creeps, and the Melvin and Bezos, and the lone scum Elon Musks, the role of that entity which is distinct and different than you. Believe it's necessary in this reality, put here on purpose, in my opinion, and by design. Think of a second grade class or second graders at a birthday party, right? But there's no magician. There's no show. They're waiting for the show. There is a table with a tablecloth and something behind a curtain, and there's a rabbit on the table and a cane and flowers and a little bird jumping around in a cage and a water tank and chains. And, well, where's the magician? There's no magician. You need the magician to come in and facilitate the trick. That's what the Not Milks, Minions, and Melvin and Bezos and these creeps are. You need this class of entity, which is not the same as you, to facilitate the trick. My opinion, this is not supposed to be lying around on beaches with lube. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be hard to overcome. Therefore, you need a class of assholes. And now I'm using the Crypt Keeper from that old TV show as the representation of the Melvin and Bezos creep class. Tony called a sequential incarnation, different from your incarnation. According to Tony, you would be a simultaneous incarnation of higher self. They have a different relationship with higher self. But I was going to say, you can see the true form here, right? We're looking at the Crypt Keeper. So we have the, they live glasses on, but we don't really need no glasses anymore. We can see through the trick either way. But if we were to take off, this is an interesting exercise. We can see the true form here. If we take off the metaphysical glasses, and again, we don't need no real glasses, who do you think this would be? To me, as I'm looking at it, it would either be Scott Pelley from the CBS Evening News in 60 Minutes or Jared Kushner. It's not like you threw out the name Henry Kissinger. It's not a matter of being skinny. It's just not Henry Kissinger. This is the true form of either Scott Pelley, who for years I called the Skeleton Man, who hosts 60 Minutes in the CBS Evening News. He probably doesn't do CBS News anymore. I think he still pops up as the Crypt Keeper on 60 Minutes. Or this could be Jared Kushner. So Ivanka Trump, if you're listening, and I know you do, this is actually who you're waking up next to. Matt, you're assuming Ivanka isn't one of them. True. I must assume she is. Although I always like the form on the outside without the glasses, and I begged Ivanka on many videos to leave Jared for me. We'll go back to this for a few minutes. Everybody knows what it is because I talk about it all the time, the XXX diner scene. And the key here is at the end, his name is Adolphus Gibbons or something like that, Samuel L. Jackson. How'd you know? How'd you figure out this diner was a setup, was a facade, was faux, was fake? The diner represents this reality. And he says, I was a bit groggy, and then I began noticing some things. And there's a lot of truth in this video, but that's the essence or core of what we're talking about here. When I worked for the big insurance company and they sent me out to Los Angeles, 96, 97, 98, it wasn't I was a bit groggy and I began noticing some things. I was just like everyone else. I was completely groggy, completely fogged over, completely fluorided and calcified over. I wasn't noticing anything. I was believing every bit of everything, just like everybody else is. So there's a tiny little group of us at some point that break free. And the Not Milk knows we're going to break free. And it's the point where he says here, I was a bit groggy, and then I began noticing some things. Many of us in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 2010, some just a few months ago. People like Greg, the day of the big event, I've told you the story, came out of the test he was taking. Work was paying for him to take classes. Was with people in the class he didn't even know. And they were watching the news. They didn't know what happened. They came out of the test. It was like quiet or sequestered, if that's even a word. And he looked up. He said, that can't happen. That can't happen. I don't know what the people in class or whoever he said it to or what, but he knew that day. So some of us have been noticing things per this scene a lot longer. Some of them are longer than others. Some people have noticing things longer than others. For me, when I really started to notice things like this isn't right. It was. I've told you. I believed every bit of the big day, September. Believed every bit of it through most of 2005 or 6. Was investigating hardcore, I would say, in 2005 or 6, probably 6. It was. I believed it for many years. I was probably fully aware or awake to it by the mid of 2006, 2007, probably. And then, of course, when you go on that journey, it leads to how many other thousands of topics come rushing your way. I was a bit groggy, then I began noticing some things. And the key point here is the Not Milk is a worthy adversary. It's not dumb. It knows a certain group of people or a certain type of spirit is going to notice eventually some things because it knows the size of the bite that it's been taking and what it's been trying to get away with. It knows we are going to start noticing some things. So there it's ready and waiting with the breadcrumbs. It's ready and waiting with the conspiracy map. And these people, they know they're gonna start seeing through a lot of it. So what do? They said in their George Soros meeting in the form of a monkey. They said, we'll give him this. We'll give him the Pizza Hut pan pizza enemy at the gates. We'll give him that. We'll give him this. We'll give him that. We'll give him this. We'll give him a mall event. We'll give him a school event. We'll give NASA will say this. NASA will say that. NASA will say you can't go to the Van Allen belt. Lone Scum will do this. SpaceX will do this. There'll be this fake cheering, and whenever the Dragon capsule goes up in the early days of SpaceX, there'll be this like fake cheering with these kids running around. They say they work for. So we'll give them that to focus on. And they gave us thousands and thousands and thousands. And the reality itself was a reality generation machine / conspiracy generation machine. It knows we're going to start noticing some things, so it just hopes that we notice too much and take the wrong bait. And the point, again, is one sentence. So I'll go back to the slide that's most apt and appropriate to who I believe I am, that I was a spirit or a soul and existed before birth. I came in here willingly. I came in here to do something for myself. Well, what about yourself? For myself, I have to accomplish certain things for my spiritual whole. And there's an asshole here, an adversary that's here, and its role is to keep me from accomplishing those things, to keep me from getting it done. Every good football game, baseball game, whatever sport you're interested in, it doesn't work if there's not an opposing team. It's pretty simple. And it is fair. It's not fair. It is fair. If we knew one bit of who we were or what we truly are, we wouldn't take it seriously. Therefore, we wouldn't learn anything. Going through 30, 40 years of the stress, the anxiety, the jealousy, the worry, being stressed out about the late water bill, worried about this, road ragers, fuck you, road ragers, all the bullshit we have to notices in the mail, the crap we have to put up with. Part 2. The work, the worry about yourself activities, Wayne's diagram. It's all here for us, and it's not supposed to be easy. Thanks for listening.